Hi, I'm Cherie Krim, candidate for Panama City Beach, City Council, Ward 4. I'm running because I love our city. I have the experience and dedication to make a difference here. I believe our government should listen to and work for its people. I will be focusing on our community, our environment, and I will always be an advocate for transparency. On April 21st, vote for me, Cherie. My name is Cherie Krim, candidate for Panama City Beach, City Council, Ward 4. I approve this advertisement.
So that was my commercial. My name is Cherie Krim. I am the author of The Business Case for Kindness. I am also a political candidate. I ran for city council here in Panama City Beach back in 2020. Do we all remember what happened in 2020? That was when COVID started. And my particular election was on April the 20th. Oh, I'm 21st, 20th of 2020. And it's very interesting to think about what was going on during that time period and how you could actually campaign. Now, you may wonder why I want to bring up politics when we're here to talk about business. Business and politics are related. And the sooner we start paying attention to that, it's going to help us going forwards. Because I'll be honest with you right now, I live in the state of Florida. And our state of Florida, apparently, our dictator of a governor, fascist Ron DeSantis, has decided that diversity, equity, and inclusion are not things that we need here in the state of Florida. And at the same time, he's decided, as so has our education department, that slaves earned skills while they were in slavery. So, if we're not talking about these things at our workplaces because we're trying to be polite, we are going to continue to lose our rights. And all of that kind of sucks, especially for people like me. I was born in 1975. I have less rights today than I did the day I was born because I live here in the state of Florida. I was born here in the state of Florida. I'm a native Floridian. I was born here and I had more rights in 1975 than I do today in 2023. All of that comes down to, it's an interesting thing. Where is it? Oh, it's on this other phone and I can't grab it right now. I was on a text message and I was talking about how Saturday is Women's Equality Day, and we are going to be doing a positivity for Women's Equality Day. And talking about those things, I put it out there to somebody to mention this. In my area, most positions, I'll say most positions have never had somebody like me in them, meaning a woman. But we've also, I don't know if we've ever had an LGBTQ candidate. Well, no, we've had a candidate. I don't know if anybody's ever been elected. No, Judy Tender, never mind. I apologize on that over in Lynn Haven. Yes, we have had people elected who are LGBTQ. But how many people have we had elected that aren't the same color of my skin? Yeah, that's where I live. And I fight every day to try to help us become better here in our area. And politics and business go together. If you don't think so, how do you think these politicians keep getting rich, right? I mean, it's how many times have you seen that happen? And that happens because of no transparency within our government, those type of things. And we're not worried about the community. We're not worried about our environment. We're worried about how much more money we can make. And that right there is the problem across the board. And that's actually why I wrote The Business Case for Kindness when I left corporate America, because I saw all the good, the bad, the ugly, and illegal. We all have to face it. Our companies do things that are illegal. I said it out loud. I have proof that SBC/AT&T did things that were wrong. Every company does. And they do it to see how long they can get away with it. I shouldn't say every company. There are companies like mine who are never going to do that. But big companies, they do things. Now, Who knows about Citizens United? And who knows about money in politics? This is another reason why businesses and politics are not separate. We treat businesses like a person. They get to give money to political candidates. See, business, politics, they go together. So I'm super excited that y'all are here today. We're going to talk about the business case for kindness, and we're going to talk about mental health today. I think that is a very good thing to bring up today. I was so lucky yesterday to be on an amazing call talking about mental health and talking about how it is in the workplace. And, we did gamification, which is just a really amazing thing. You get to answer questions online and then they put them in a chart. It was just so much fun to go and do these things. So I wrote down a couple things because it wasn't shocking, because I wrote my book. I started the book with research back in the 2000s as I was coming up in corporate America. I was researching. So this whole time I've been researching and paying attention and knowing what's happening. Now, I did win the contest, or it wasn't really a contest, but the whole voting thing, because I was actually the closest to being right. So here's a question for everyone. What percentage of employees have reported that they've had some mental health issues within the past month? I want to say that was the question. How many? What would you think? I said 75%. It was 76. Why are people having problems at their job? Why are there so many mental health issues going on with our jobs? Now, how many of these people go and talk to their coworkers about it? You would think it would be a little less. A lot of us voted less on that. It's actually 65% of employees go and do those things and they talk to their coworkers. But how many of them actually get a positive response when they're talking about their mental health or the issues going on? That's less than half at 49%. This is why businesses are being forced to change. I say forced because what we had prior to COVID, we are never going back to. Watching these companies trying to force their employees to go back to the office. I get it. I understand we have these office spaces, and I understand that we do need to fill up cities because we have lots of spaces. I understand those things about capitalism. But it is not a company to go and force you to go back to the office. Those companies are not, when this is said and done, this isn't going to work. We are shifting from the command and control culture into a more nurturing culture. And we are shifting. That's why we're having such a pushback right now, right? We are in the most exciting time in history that we could be alive right now because we're fighting for civil rights. We're fighting for our rights. We're fighting for change. I don't believe anybody here in the United States truly wants a fascist dictator, but it seems like some do. Most of us don't. So the ones of us that don't want that, this is why business and politics mix together. You have to vote. Thinking back at my time working at AT&T, I remember having conversations about politics and people be like, we don't talk about that at the workplace, or I don't vote because it doesn't matter. These were directors and vice presidents of a Fortune 10 company saying these things to me. It matters. It matters that you vote. It matters that you pay attention, and it matters that you talk about it because things are not going to change unless we have these hard conversations. And it's kind of interesting. And I know I've got coffee on my book because I've had it for such a long time out here talking. Activating Kindness is Your Superpower. This is free on my website. It actually talks about being kind to you first, then to others, and then how to have the hard conversations. But how are we going to be kind to anybody else if we're not kind to ourselves first? And that's what it always comes back to. How can we be kind to ourselves first? So, I have a quote in here I'm going to read real fast because it really, I say all of this comes back down to values. And we have wanted this. I don't know if it was how they wanted us to grow up with Generation X with the politeness and not talking about politics, but that's what's gotten us here. And we're not going to do that anymore because if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If you are neutral, if an elephant has its foot on a tail of a mouse and you say you are neutral, that mouse does not appreciate your neutrality. Just like I don't appreciate your neutrality not standing up for my rights to my body. We wanted and we said bodily autonomy when it came to COVID vaccinations and those things. But why isn't it my body, my choice when it comes to my body and my choice? Why is it the politicians have decided that they get to tell me what I get to do with my body? Now, I think everybody has heard the story, or maybe you have not. There's a seventh grader who now has a baby because she was raped and was forced to have that baby. Is that really how we should be treating our youth and rape victims? Absolutely not. And it's kind of interesting. There's a new book that I just found. It's called Ejaculate Responsibly. I said that online. Ejaculate Responsibly, because women have always had the stereotype, keep your legs closed, do these things, right? It's your fault if you get pregnant. We don't get pregnant on our own. And the amount of men, how many babies can a man make in a day versus how many can we make? It's important to talk about these things because our rights are being taken away. On another side of things, we also have LGBTQ rights being taken away because all of the sudden, because this stuff has been going on for decades. But because we are in this spot right now, command and control versus nurturing, we're fighting. And we're going to go backwards a little. But we're going to shoot forwards and we are going to get our rights back. And that sounds crazy for me to sit here. I am in 2023 and I'm trying to explain to you how we're going to get our rights back. How did we get here? Fascist dictators, people who want power, money in government, businesses as people. All of these things have led us up to this. But as you can see, unions are stepping up in ways that they haven't in decades. We have more people joining unions now than we have, 60s, 50s, 60s. It's been quite a long time. And thinking about that shows you everything you need to know. People are going on strike. People are willing to stand up for a livable wage, which when you look and you read into the business case for kindness, you will see I talk about paying a decent wage. Here in my county, it blew my mind to find this out. I was at a county commission meeting and they were talking about EMS pay. These are the people that go out to your house, right? Our paramedics, our EMS. These are the people that are going out here to help save your life. They weren't making $15 an hour. They weren't even making $15 an hour. Now, it's kind of interesting because our taxes are going to go up because we're going to have to fund this, right, to be able to pay people a livable wage. But here in the state of Florida, we have not enacted a $15 minimum wage yet. It doesn't go in until 2026. Now, we did vote that in, just like we voted in medical marijuana, and we tried to vote in recreational marijuana in 2022, but Governor DeSantis made sure that didn't happen because he doesn't like cannabis and he thinks that this shouldn't happen. In fact, he's mad about medical, which is a whole nother situation of things. So you think about it, right? We can do these things as a state. We pass these things, but yet we can't pay EMS $15 an hour. And our county government seemed shocked that they were going to have to do that. That's the crazy part, right? Because they were going, oh, we didn't think it was going to take effect until 2026. But because of Governor Ron DeSantis, we're going to have to pay them more now. How about we pay our workers a living wage, period? And a living wage is not $15 an hour. I sat on Friday night with an EMS and a paramedic, somebody who has both. She can't just work one job and support herself. That was the point. And that is literally where we used to be as a country. Minimum wage was about making sure that you could live, that you had what you needed and you could live. But you can't do that anymore, right? So I'm just going to pull out my handy dandy little calculator, which I was told when I was in school, you'll never be carrying a calculator with you. You need to learn math. Sorry, I always find that funny. So let's just say she's making, I think she's at $16 an hour now. $16 an hour times 40 hours a week. That's $640. So let's times that by 4 weeks. So that's about $2,560. And let's take about 20% out for taxes. I'm going to say that's a nice one, and everything else. That's about $2,000. My average rent here in Bay County for, let's say, a 1-bedroom is about $1,200. So let's minus $1,200. That leaves you $800 for food and everything else. And you're going to sit here and go, Shree, that's a lot of money. Have you been to the grocery store? If you're not going to Aldi's, you should be, because if I hear another person complain about the price of eggs and not go to Aldi, they're only $1.11 a dozen at Aldi. So is this how we should be treating our employees? That's what this all comes back down to. And our future is not where we are right now. We are transitioning into the future. And the future is, I know, it's the KRT model, because the KRT model starts with kindness and it moves up to respect and it goes to trust. And this is how we, number one, rebuild our companies. Number two, rebuild our communities. It all starts with kindness. And kindness starts with you and me. And if we're not kind to ourselves, how can we do any of these things? Now, I know I started off talking about rights and women's rights and how I have less rights today than I did. I want to bring up something that I have in my book. And it's interesting because I have this tabbed because it's really important. In 2015, so this was 8 years ago, the United Nations sent 3 women here to assess our gender equality. The women were from Poland, the United Kingdom, and Costa Rica. They spent 10 days in the United States and visited Alabama, Texas, and Oregon. They were concerned about the lack of gender equality in the U.S. and how the United States is lagging far behind international human rights standards. This was in 2015. We haven't gotten better. So we know women make less than men. So that's part of the KRT model, is actually paying everybody in a certain job. What the Equal Pay Act says you should do, let's actually start following the law. Our harassment at abortion clinics. Now, it's interesting. I have been taking friends and other women to abortion clinics since I was in high school, because it is a woman's decision, a girl's decision to make, when these things happen. And I'll be honest, if I've always been for you to make your own decision on what you want to do on this. I have friends that had children in high school, and I had friends that didn't. And harassment at abortion clinics, even back when I was 16 years old, taking somebody, do you think those people didn't have a problem pushing me, hurting me, saying things to me? That's not normal. I understand you want your pro-life, which if you were pro-life, we wouldn't have the gun issues we have, but that's a whole nother set of conversations. We allow a lot of things here that other countries don't. They wouldn't allow this in another country because it's healthcare. Now, in the county I live in, we have never, ever have they had abortion as an option here. I don't even know if there's any. I think there's a few that will do it if they have to, but there's not a Planned Parenthood where I live. There's not a place where you can even talk to somebody about getting an abortion here in my area. So is it any wonder that more than 50% of our children live in poverty? And we have children having children at 12, 13, 14, right? You have the generations of poverty. We have the generational poverty that just keeps going. That's why they don't want you to go to college. That's why they don't want you to finish high school. You know, why do you need an education? We got you right down here. We want you here having babies. We can do better, and we will. The United States is one of the only countries that doesn't guarantee maternity leave. How much does that blow your mind? Violence against women. And I have to say this. What is it? 99% of violence against women? Or 95, 99. It's in the 90s. It's not caused by other women. We like to use the word domestic partner. The violence is caused by men. And do you want to know what men are also? Men are also the largest consumer of child porn. And did you know the United States was the largest consumer of child porn? So the men in the United States are watching a lot of child porn and human trafficking, which when I moved here, I didn't realize the Panhandle of Florida was number one for child human trafficking. But it makes sense when you start relating the pieces together, the poverty, the generational poverty, and trying to get out and trying to get food. Because when you're wondering where your next meal is going to come from as a child, and this man comes along and says, hey, I got some money for you. You want to go out to a nice meal? You need some new clothes. Let me help you. Then all of a sudden you owe them. And then all of a sudden you're being trafficked and you don't even realize it. It's kind of insidious how the whole thing works. So raising minimum wage is something we must do here in the United States. And it's very sad to think, and I wrote it here. I started in working. What year did I start working? 1991. 1991, I started working. Minimum wage was $4.25. 1991. It is 2023. Minimum wage is $7.25. $3 in over 30 years with the inflation and the craziness that we've had. None of this is going to work for us as a society going forward. We have to have those conversations, right? Because everybody deserves a livable wage. Honestly, I don't think any job should pay less than $40,000 a year at this point, right? Because even if you're looking here, handy dandy little calculator, right? Let's just say you make $40,000 a year. And let's just say 20% goes to taxes, and then you divide that out. That's only $2,666 a month to live off of. Car payments are what, $500? Here in Florida, my car insurance is over $100 a month. My house insurance is like $500. You just keep adding it up. And you guys might think, hey, why should we pay somebody who's only flipping burgers a livable wage? Because they deserve it? Because they're working to feed you? Because they are working for their job that they have. And thinking of people that are flipping burgers as less than, because that is the job that they are in, and you think they deserve less money, do you think the people picking up your garbage deserve less money? You might also think that. And that right there, all of us are here to work together as a community so that going forward, things will be better for all of us and not just some of us. And I'll tell you, I know people who run McDonald's here in town, you can make a decent wage working certain jobs in our town. But most jobs, there's a local Mexican restaurant called Los Antojitos. And we have had quite a few events there. They have a nice outdoor space, all of the things. And out of nowhere, and it came down to employees and the new owners and all of those things. But out of nowhere, they just, the day it was lunch, after that lunch shift, they just said, go ahead and pack up your stuff. We're going to be shutting down for the rest of the day. No, they said they were going to shut down to remodel. They just let everybody go just like that. No warning, no nothing. See, that's the bullshit. You can't treat your employees like that. And you can't treat your town like that. Because honestly, am I ever going to go back to any of their restaurants? No, I know what they own. I'm not going to go there. And the rest of us locally, we're going to make sure people know. Because the fact of the matter is, treating your employees with dignity and respect and kindness gets you a lot. And it gets you a lot when it comes to your returns on your business when you treat your employees with kindness. I find it very interesting when I'm out consulting and sitting down with companies. And I say this out loud. What do happy employees get you? What do happy employees bring to your company? What do they bring to your company? Happy employees make happy customers. And happy customers bring more money and more revenue and more sales. Step one, employees. If you're treating your employees like shit, they're going to treat your customers like shit. Period. Have y'all called into one of those call centers and they're just like, they really could give a crap about anything that's going on the phone? They are talking about other things. They just don't really care. Probably because they're being treated like crap. I used to work in call centers and I remember certain leadership styles. Some of them were not so good. My team, of course, and they will tell you even to this day, I am still friends with quite a few of them. My original team from 2000, working in a call center, they'll tell you, I equipped them to be able to do their job so that they could be happy employees because I worked with them. Because when you're in a call center, you could be that manager that just takes all of the irate calls. But why? We all have to learn how to deal with them. And most of the time, they're not irate. They just need a little help. They just need a little kindness. And I didn't realize that I was leading with kindness back in 2000 when I started all of this. And then I realized, wow, I worked with my employees who then worked with the customers, who then might even buy more because they were angry, but now they're not because they were treated with kindness. Kindness diffuses situations. Kindness leads to happy employees. Kindness leads to happy customers. It's just amazing what it leads to. So I appreciate everybody joining in today. I don't know if there's any questions out there. I know I had gotten, let me go over here to my Facebook and see if there was anything on the Facebook. Because for whatever reason, things are not popping up over here on my screen for StreamYard. But I will figure this out real fast. There we go. I love what we have out there today. All right. I do not have any comments there. I don't. All right. So I wanted to see if there was any questions out there. Is there anybody over on TikTok that has any questions? Thinking about the future's kind. I'm here to help us do that. I do have leadership consulting, I have leadership training, I have all the things to help you become the leader for the future because hate is a virus. We need to talk about politics and business, and kindness is our path forward. It's am I going on the VOE? I'm not sure. Voter something VOE. Jessica. Oh, no, 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 no. I wish I could, Jessica. I actually we have a book thing going on here, and then I'm going to Dallas. So I'm really upset. I'm really sad that I'm not able to go on the Voyage of Empowerment this year. I wish I was able to. But this year, other things are going on, and I do get to go to the Pink concert in Dallas. So I can't complain. That's at the end of the month of September. So, but if you're going on, I hope you have a good time. And I can't wait to see all the pictures from the Voyage of Empowerment. Because if you haven't done the Voyage of Empowerment with Ashley Brundage, this is the second year doing it. I was lucky enough to be there for the first one. And it is something that lifts you up, empowers you. Because when you're around Ashley, you want to do better. You want to learn. And, those things. It's just quite amazing. So, well, I hope everybody has a good rest of your day. And I hope that we lead with kindness today. I'll be back next week. We'll talk about more things around kindness, the business case for kindness. And if you're ready to take the next step, you can get the book online. It is on Amazon, my website, as well as my free ebook, Activating Kindness as Your Superpower. Now, my third book, I'm working on the KRT model, will be coming out later this year. So super excited about getting that book out. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your day, and stop in the TikTok and stop in everything over here. Bye, y'all. Bye.